that bass low.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Nelson, and today we have some Black Ops gameplay for you on the map of Blanche, and Matt is using the G11, which is one of his favorite guns, and it's a pretty good gun. I like it a lot too, but today what we will be talking about is kind of a random topic I thought about, I don't know, like 20 minutes ago, and let's just say it's what not to do the first day of 7th grade, and that's probably what the title will be, something along the lines of that, because it's pretty funny. It's a short little story, so I think that after I'm done talking about this, I'll probably still have time, and then I'll maybe tell you a little bit about the patch on today, June 28th. I think it'll be up today, but yeah, so let's get started. First, let me give you a little background on what schools I went to before. I went to school at a charter school, which is kind of like a private school, but there's a few differences. I can't really name exactly what, but I went to a charter school from kindergarten to, I believe, 4th grade, kindergarten through 4th grade, and then in 5th grade I went to a private Christian school, same for 6th grade, and then here we go with 7th grade. I was going to a public school for the first time, and I was pretty nervous. I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous, but excited at the same time, because it was a big change in my life, and I knew that after I got this year out of the way, 7th grade I'm talking about, I'd be sticking with these kids the majority of the time, the rest of my time in school, like through 12th grade, which is where I'm going to next year. And by that I mean because the high school was right next to the middle school, so a lot of the kids that went to that middle school went to the high school. So the first day I was all nervous and everything, and this was my first time going to a school where they had different classes, and by that I mean like art first period room 742. I had one home teacher my previous 6 years in school, so that was kind of new to me and everything, and I got to go and look at the school and look at the classes a couple months before and all that, and I got that all out of the way, but I was studying my schedule really closely, and I was making sure, okay, first period, 8:40, I gotta be at this class. It was math class. It was like room 742, and Matt teabags that guy. It was room 742, I think it was, but I'd studied it and everything. I'd got there. I remember I went there the first day. I walked up to the room, and I was like, okay, all right. It's this room right here. Like, I was focusing on the location, and I was like, okay, that's the room, that's the room. So I got there, and I walked in, and I sat down, and one of my friends was like, after like 2 minutes, my friend was like, oh, Nelson, you have home ec first period too? And I was like, home ec? I thought this was math. And they're like, nope. I ran out of the classroom. Everyone was like laughing. It was so embarrassing. Oh my gosh, it was terrible. So then I was like, okay, all right, got that out of my way. There's the nerves, whatever. I don't know how that happened. Like, it's almost like it seems like the number on the door changed or something. I was like, okay, all right. So then I went downstairs, and this is like, there was like upper story, and I went downstairs because I realized it was downstairs the class was, and I went in, I sat down, and this one I'd say about like 5 minutes in, teacher's calling names, and she's like calling all these names. I'm like, excuse me, miss, you didn't say Nelson. And I was like, and she was like, oh, are you sure you're in the right class? I'm like, yeah, this is math, right? She's like, no, this is geography. And I was like, oh my gosh. So at this point, it's like almost 9 o'clock, I think. So this is like 15, 20 minutes, and I'm late for the class, first period, and I walk into math. Everyone's already sitting down. Everyone's already got their seats and everything, and I just walk over to the nearest table, and I'm just so nervous. And I couldn't, like, I told the teacher, oh, I'm sorry, I walked into 2 wrong classes. It was so embarrassing, because I knew nobody. I knew like a few kids, like 2 or 3 kids that came with me from my private school, but it was really embarrassing. And that's pretty much not what not to do on your first day of 7th grade or public school or whatever. Just don't choke like I did, because it's embarrassing, but it's funny looking back at it now. So yeah, that's pretty much enough with that. I think I'll just talk to you guys a little bit about the patch. I don't really know too much about this, but I got on this morning and there was a patch, and today's June 28th for Modern Warfare 3, And I heard they were going to be buffing a few guns earlier, and maybe I don't know if it was I don't know if they were going to patch anything or not buff. What's the other word? Nerf anything? I don't know, but I heard they're going to buff the M16, so I was like, all right, I'm going to put on M16 class and MP5 and stuff. And the M16 seems to me it has more damage. It reminds me more of the Black Ops M16 now. Not as good as the Modern Warfare 2 one, but I definitely noticed a big difference. So I'm not a Woody's gamer tag. I didn't research for it hours on it. I don't know. I think he does that. But it appears the M16 got a buff, and the MP5 fire rate seems to be a little bit better. I don't know if I noticed a huge difference in the way it kills, but the fire rate is a little bit better. I also think they buffed the PM9, and I'm not sure any other submachine guns. MP5, PM9, the M16, and maybe one other gun. I can't think of it right now. But yeah, here's Matt killing people in his chopper, and I pretty much got through that on perfect timing. Here's the game-winning kill. Team 1, 7,500 to 2,800, 2,800. That was weird. But I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.